good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. And welcome to another Nerd Nation stream. We're talking Discovery, Season 3, Episode 13, That Hope Is You, Part 2. Final episode of the season. Let's talk about it. I'm here with my usual partner in crime, Cousin Cheeto. How you
So,
doing?
doing good. How about you?
Great. I just want to quickly say that I did enjoy this episode, and let's talk about it. So we start off with Hugh and Saru tending to Sakal whilst they're deteriorating, and it just so happens that the ship around them is also deteriorating. What a terrible coincidence. Um, Nevertheless, Adira comes to the rescue as we saw previously, and she's changed into this particular alien. I wasn't able to recognize the species. Were you?
It's I don't remember what it's called, but it is from season 2. It's from season 2 of Discovery. It's from the race that Tilly met the queen of, but she didn't know it was the queen, and she was running throughout the ship. And I mean, it's
Oh
in
yeah,
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 on
yeah.
that Trek short.
I remember that. I remember that.
That's
Yeah,
the race she is.
yeah. Okay, fair enough. And we also get to see Gray because somehow the holo emitters are able to somehow bring back conscious mind creations or some shit like that. But Gray's back, and sorry, I apologize. He is a Vulcan, and Saru and Hugh can see him as well, which is pretty cool. Do you like all of that?
I thought it was kind of dumb. I mean, like the computer being able to tell or recognize, but then why didn't all of the former troll hosts show up? Maybe I mean maybe she has a connection to this one, the strongest, and that's why. But why didn't all the other troll hosts show up then? I thought it would have been interesting to see all those troll hosts again. You know,
I
so
mean, obviously, it's to do with her connection. You throw in the fact that she's human, bish bash bosh, come back from the dead, get
yeah,
yourself a
yeah,
new
yeah,
body.
yada yada yada.
Okay, so before the credits roll, we're with Admiral Vance, and he's actually trying to destroy Discovery because Osira's captaining it, as we recall, because she has the spore drive. Now, the crew on the Discovery are also trying to get back to the bridge, and they got a bunch of Wally robots helping them and stuff like that. They got the spare data inside it and stuff like that.
Wally.
And then we quickly cut back to Starfleet, and Stamets is there, and he's begging the Admiral, like, please, you need to send me back. You need to get Hugh, Saru. We need to get him and stuff like that. But the Admiral, he knows that he's just being an emotional wet fish right now. Admiral's got way bigger fucking things to deal with, and on top of that, Stamets is the key to that spore drive. So he says, you know what? If she's over there, you're fucking going over there, mate. And sends him away and says, you know what? I feel sorry. I understand your sacrifice, and it means a great deal to Starfleet or something along those lines. But then we get Navarre coming in, the fucking some wormhole or some portal. No, actually, sorry, the shields open up and Navarre come in. I thought we were going to get a bit of an end game moment, but we get nothing from them because Osira then is willing to put those locusts or those pesticides into the ventilation systems and shit like that, and that's going to just fuck them up big time. So Michael then implores Osira, listen, let me just talk to the admiral and I'll get us the fuck out of here. And Michael, like, wink, wink, nod, nod, trust me, Admiral. You can trust me. I got this. I mean, if Osira doesn't realize something's not going up after that, then she's dumb as fuck because she needs to fucking release those pesticides because she would have had the upper hand doing that, surely. But nevertheless, um, Discovery shoots off, and the Admiral lets them go, and then we roll the credits. What do you think of that little interesting scene before the credits start?
I mean, it's fine. It's I mean, it was kind of tense for a minute. I was with you. I was hoping that Navarre would show up, Trill would show up, the Earth would show up, like the Earth Defense Force would show up, and we'd have our end game moment where it would be Osira's big bad ship just was outgunned and outmatched. Um, and I
I
feel
don't
like
think they show up at all, by the way.
yeah, they didn't. I mean, I understand why the Marin ship showed up, but I feel like they really missed a trick. Really missed a trick here. I feel like this could have been an epic moment of former Federation ships coming in and helping Starfleet headquarters out.
I think
And
I think you're right. Regarding all the shit they had to tie up, I think they found it very hard to maybe thematically make this moment be as big as it is, as well as having to go back and forth to the slower moments of Saru being on that planet and all of that shit. I think it would have been an additional plot line, another subplot of us having to cut back to them or some shit like that.
I
It was
mean,
very hard to tell.
you're not wrong, because I do feel like that. I mean, they this episode was an hour and 1 minute, like far longer than any of the other episode. I mean, every other episode was like anywhere between 45 to 50, like 53 minutes or something like that. Like, this is the longest episode of the season by far. At least I believe it's longer than the part 1. Well, episode 1. But yeah, I feel like they really missed a trick here where it could have been the Star Trek Endgame moment for Discovery.
It needed to happen at the end of the episode, kind of, to a degree. It was happened this early. It was very hard to make the most out of it without some sort of tragedy. But nevertheless, let's just start talking about the plot thread. So we have three plots here. We have the Saru and Hugh with Sakul plot. We have the obviously Michael Burnham, whatever she's doing this episode plot, as well as Tilly and the rest of the gang plot. So we're going to start off with Saru, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So we have Saru and he's trying to bond with the Kelpian. He makes a Kelpian a meal and stuff like that. And Saru wants to know why. Sorry, I apologize. Sakul wants to know why it's taken the Federation so long to rescue him. And Saru tries to explain to him, in the most layman way of regarding the burn, his mother's message, and he then tells him that the world is actually bigger than what you think it is, but it's just beyond that exit door, a door which he doesn't really want to cross anymore. We quickly cut to Gray, we cut to Dara, we cut to Hugh, and there's a radiation leak through this hole in the wall, and because Gray's not really alive, Gray's able to walk through it, and he finds out that this is like the cockpit of a spaceship, and I believe he sees the bodies, obviously, of the last surviving crew members. Um, Now, so Cool basically has to face his fears regarding his past, and I believe some of it's in the form of this weird holographic Kelpian alien. But nevertheless, Sakul does face his demons, and he comes across the old recording of his mother dying, and then the trauma of it causing the burn, and I fucking called that.
No,
Then
you said originally Michael Burnham was a part of the burn.
no. I said
Ah,
I would
you
hate.
said
No,
it.
no, no, no. I no. Don't do this American shit on me. I said, yeah, that I would
Backpedaling.
hate it. I would hate it if Michael Burnham was the cause of the burn, because there are some correlations to it regarding her name being Burnham and the burn, and she's involved in everything in this fucking universe. So I was worried that was going to happen. I didn't want it to happen, and I'm glad it didn't. And even though it's kind of an anticlimax that what has caused it is not this grandiose thing, sometimes it could be the most simplest thing. And we've seen that in films before.
But I agree with you. I knew it was too. Like, it had to have been his mom's death.
Yeah,
So,
I
but
knew
that
it.
means this Kelpian's like what? Over 120 years old. How long do they
Yeah.
live? I don't even know.
Well, they never really had the chance to know because they all tend to kill themselves.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But they know,
But
probably in the future they know that,
yeah.
after they went in. So they probably know in the future. But yeah, Saru wouldn't know.
Well, look, they shut down the power, and also Hugh basically tells Gray as well. Listen, mate, we're gonna hook you up. Don't worry. Just because we're shutting down this hollow emitter doesn't mean we've forgotten about you. We'll get you back. And I love that, man. This is why like the Doctor's fast becoming my favorite character. He really gives a shit. You really see it. He genuinely. You almost feel like he's got a second chance in life, and he's really just taking it with both. And he literally has, and he's taking it with both hands, and I love it. You know what I mean? And he's giving back, and he feels, like if anybody would know kind of what Gray's feeling like, it would be Hugh. So I can understand why he wants to help him. Um, Sakul finally sees, because of the holometers being turned off, Sakul finally sees Saru in his true form. And this is a great moment, don't you think?
I
You
do.
know,
I thought it was a great moment.
it was a great moment. Sakul realizing he's not alone. There are other Kelpians, and like the tremendous sense of responsibility Saru felt as well for him. You know, almost like a son. You know, he looked at him to a degree,
Hmm.
which was pretty cool. But you know, this ship is deteriorating around them, and even though they said they would help Sokol, unfortunately, they feel that maybe their time's coming to an end. But as we all know, Michael Burnham, you know, she comes into the rescue, and we'll get to why she how she got there a little bit later on. But she comes into the rescue and rescues them, and that's kind of like the Burn storyline done. You know, it's over after that. I mean, it's probably been one of the most underwhelming story arcs to Burn.
That's
Um,
because they solved it in one season. That I feel like if this was just a mystery that held over the series for a couple seasons, and then maybe them finding it, like them just solving the burn in one season that everybody else couldn't solve in 120 years over multiple different species, and just is ridiculous. And
no,
that's what I
I'm glad they solved it. I understand where you're coming from. Sometimes later season payoffs are really good. I'm very glad they solved it in one season because honestly, it was such a boring story arc. The fact that if they went into into a second season would make me very unhappy. And glad this shit is done. But we'll talk about that a little bit later, a bit more in depth. Yeah. So anything you want to say regarding the whole scenario with Saru, Hugh, Adira, anything regarding that before we move on to the next subplot?
no, I mean it all was pretty heartwarming. I still think it's dumb that you could see Gray. As I said, that's going to stick out like a sore thumb. Excuse me, stick out to a sore thumb to me. You're right. Man. Hugh and Saru are the MVPs in my opinion. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
For
I
me,
mean,
no, but for me, way more with Hugh because you almost feel like the sort of the way people like Saru is just it's almost characteristic to that species. Human beings are all over the place. To find a genuinely good-natured, warm human being who cares for people like Hugh does is few and far between, and that's why he's fast becoming my favorite character
well, and that's
on
why he's a
Discovery.
doctor too. I mean, you know.
Yeah, well, trust me, not all doctors. A lot of them do it for the status and for the money, and because
Well, and I think that's why Star Trek's different is because there's no
yeah,
money involved and there's
yeah, exactly.
just
But you know, but there is ambition, and sometimes people's ambitions in Star Trek corrupts them. We've seen it before. Yeah, so being a doctor as well can corrupt you regarding when it comes to how far you're willing to take your research of medicine. But Hugh's obviously a totally different person. So we're going to go on to Michael Burnham now. Oh, unless you want to talk about more about the other shit.
nope, we're good.
Okay. So we start off with Book being tortured for info, and sorry, Book is going to be tortured for info. Now the scientist, that's what I'm going to call him. We know who the scientist is. Kenneth Mitchell's character, the guy who played Klingons on this show. Um, he won't want to do it because he's a peaceful man. But the cowboy, and we know who he is. We first saw him in episode 2. He wants to do it. Asara comes in and basically shows her detective side. Has no time to be fucking cordial with someone like um with the scientist and just basically chokes him out, which is interesting. She then Cowboy Ben basically tells Michael Burnham there's a no-win situation and she doesn't believe in those, which is obviously a nice little nod to Kirk. Don't you think?
Eh, it was all right. I mean,
I
I
think
thought Kirk
yeah.
right away, and that's why I'm like, okay.
Well, okay, yeah, what's great. I mean, like, don't we want these things? If it's done right, I do.
I
You
don't
know,
know. I know. I don't think it was done right at all, but that's okay. Keep going. We can talk more on that later, like in our discussion cast.
so look now. Michael basically makes a play by creating a mini quarantine shield around Book and herself, and this gives her enough time to get because like the whole of Osiris group is now split. They're able to get the guards inside their quarantine shield and get their guns and stuff and escape, which was a pretty cool move, don't you think?
I think that was a very good move. That was actually quite brilliant, and I hats off. I mean, it was a good move. You know, it basically showed that she knows obviously the layout better of the ship better than the Emerald Chain and Osira, And it just made sense. Like, I mean, she should know the ship a lot better because she's been there for 3 years. So,
Well, there was a couple of moments in this episode that reminded me of the film Total Recall. Not the shitty, sorry, I apologize, not the great, fantastic Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from the late 80s, early 90s. I'm talking about the shitty Colin Farrell remake. The first one was obviously the thing on Book's head and him being tortured and stuff, and the second was this bit with the turbo lifts. Who knew there was so much depth within Discovery, huh?
yeah, that makes no sense to me. Like with the way the ship is built, like, and there's that much space in between decks and stuff no. Mm-mm. So, I mean, I would love to see a schematic of Discovery based on what we've seen there. We can get into that more, but I call shenanigans on that one.
Okay, dokie. Well, they head for the turbo lifts, and Mike jumps off one of the. She leaves Book behind, unfortunately, to fend for himself, but she jumps off one of the turbo lifts to jump onto another one, hijacks it, takes control of it, and she basically hotwires it to take her towards the data core. Now, once she opened herself up into the data core, I thought, shit, she's back at Starfleet Academy, sorry, Starfleet for the headquarters, and everyone's gone. Did you think that?
No, I
Because I
didn't.
found it very hard to follow that she was supposed to go to the data core. I had no idea that was what she was
I
supposed to
didn't
do.
know she was going to the data core, but I knew she wasn't on. I knew she wasn't on in Starfleet headquarters.
It just looked the same, but empty. Am I the only one who thinks that?
I, I didn't. I didn't. Oh, hold on.
No problem.
I mean, I can
Everyone,
edit. I
people love that shit. Trust me.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway, by the time she gets to this place, Osira's already there, and sorry, I'm bloody looking at the wrong bloody things here. But Osira is already there, and she orders. Oh, she takes. Yeah, she basically she's taking out a few people. Something's happened to Discovery. It's like it's stopped going into warp and shit. So she basically orders Discovery to go into her mothership. So Discovery goes and docks on that. In the meantime, we cut back to Book, and he's fighting fucking Cowboy and a and some cannon fodder in the turbo lift, and then Cowboy basically makes a remark saying, "You know what? I'm gonna fuck your cat up. You know, I'm gonna fuck that pussy up." And Book goes, "You know what? The name's Grudge." Or some shit like that. No, she's a queen. That's it. She's a queen. he, you have to go on about his cat for him to fucking lose his shit. It was fucking brilliant. I loved it. But it was stupid, by the way. It was stupid. Let's just remember
But
that.
it was silly, and I felt like it was silly in a good way. Truth be told.
Well, we cut back to Osira now, and after giving the orders, she's still fighting Michael Burnham. And then as she's bigger than Michael Burnham, she's definitely stronger than Michael Burnham, and she's overpowering her, and she starts pushing Michael Burnham into the Matrix. And as Michael Burnham gets sucked in, we think that she's possibly dead, but Michael Burnham's still got her gun on her, and she shoots through the Matrix and kills Osira, and she does kill her. You know, I want to make sure we understand that she's not stunned. She definitely kills her. So Osira's done, and then she starts coughing out some matrix droplets and shit like that. She reboots the ship, and then puts life support on, and that's it. Discovery saved by Michael Burnham. What do you think?
I thought that this was okay. I mean, we figured this fight was coming between Osira and Burnham because Burnham's the main character and Osira's the main bad guy.
And we saw it in the trailer the week before.
And we did, yes. But I figured this was coming. Eventually, there would be a showdown there. So I mean, it was fine. I mean, Osira's dead. I mean, I don't think that's a terrible thing.
I
I just
think it is.
You think
I
it
think
is?
it is. Yeah,
Okay.
because I didn't like a character too much, but she grew on me as the season went.
I I I I like half of me wanted to um half of me wanted, the Emerald Chain to join the Federation in the end. But the other half was like, that's a little too cushy of an ending.
No,
So
that possibility is still on the cards because it's a scientist dude who's now in charge, for argument's sake.
I don't
Yeah,
think he is. I think he's with the Federation now. I don't think he's with the Emerald Chain.
you think he's
I think he's
in
out.
You think
Maybe I might be
he's on
wrong.
asylum with the Federation? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's with the Federation. I don't think he's with the Emerald Chain anymore.
I think we'll get answers on the Emerald Chain next season for sure.
Oh, I'm not saying the organization's gone. I'm just saying she was definitely the cornerstone of it. So, yeah. I mean, we can talk about that more in the discussion stream.
Okay, so overall, this whole there was some nice pew pews by the way in with the gunfights and stuff like that. But remember earlier on in this season, we saw these giant megaphone looking guns. Yeah, and they didn't make a comeback. Yeah, they were gone. I was looking forward to seeing them, but then they became a bit more traditional looking.
Yeah, I feel like the Federation standard issue is probably different than whatever the Emerald Chain
No,
has.
but those were Emerald Chain.
Yeah,
Those were
you're right. They there was the Emerald Chain who had them. So I maybe they
yeah,
just decided after the first episode they're just like, yeah, we're not going to do those again.
fair enough. So we're on to the third subplot before everything coheres near the end. Starts off with Owu, and she's not taking much oxygen because she's got these breathing skills. And I was like shitting myself. Oh no, we're getting to understand a little bit more about Owu, and we're at the end of the season now as well. You know, we're having another Shanks lower decks moment here. Is it going to be like that? Because we find out that she obviously doesn't need to take as much oxygen because she can hold her breath for 10 minutes for fuck's sake, which is kind of interesting. Did that raise any eyebrows for you? That little bit of
It was
character.
interesting. I mean, there are people who can hold their breath for a long time. Like I don't know if 10 minutes, but I mean, I feel like a healthy pair of lungs. I mean, if you train your body to be able to hold your breath for a couple minutes, I mean, it's possible. Uh, do I think 10 minutes is a long time? Yeah, but I'm not gonna harp on that too much. But I like the fact that she got this moment. Like you know what I've been complaining about the whole season. More time with the side characters. That's what I want.
Yep. Well, they're heading for the bridge, but they get a message from Michael Burnham to go for the subliminal message, but a message nevertheless. It was like covered in like things like fireworks and stuff, just so Osiris goons could understand what the fuck they were doing. But basically to blow up the nacelles, and this is kind of like a suicide mission. But the reason why they have to blow up the nacelles is because Discovery will come out of warp, and whoever's chasing Discovery will catch up with them. It's a cool idea.
Good idea.
But Osiris obviously shut down life support in the lower decks, which is where they are, and they're slowed down. And now Owo's breathing skills come into play because unfortunately she's been put into a no-win situation here because the rest of the crew can't continue. She can, but even though she can, she will now have to be the person to give her life um, for this cause. And I had no idea prior to the culmination of this plot if
I
they were going to kill her off. What did you
I
think?
I don't think that it was a suicide run because of the bomb. I think it was a suicide run because of them being able to make it before life support ran out. I think.
I, no, but I also think it became dawning on her that going on her own meant that she was likely to die. You know,
Yeah. I don't know. I
because
mean, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it.
because at least if you got other people with you, but everyone else had passed out, and she was only the person to continue going. And you could see it dawned on her that even if she had to go, but she was going to die doing it. And if she stayed, they're going to die anyway. So
Yeah.
and anyway, she makes it to the location and she plants the bomb. And before she gets out, she collapses. Luckily for her, Wally comes along and
R2
and he,
Sphere 2.
yeah, and basically pulls her out. And the cells get destroyed. Michael Burnham's obviously restored life support. Everyone's now woken up and shit. We know Owu has survived her ordeal, and she didn't make it about herself. She made it uh, um about everyone. We did it, which was a kind of nice little thing what she said because they did all do it together. So that was pretty cool. And then they head for the bridge. So were you happy to see them all make it?
Yeah, I definitely did not want them to kill anybody off this season. I really thought that what was her name again?
Oh, Owu.
Owu. I see.
Oh yeah,
I try to remember these people's names, and it's like they don't give us enough time with them. But
I had to really look into this one, so because her name always escaped me,
yeah,
so I made sure because she was a lot more heavier in the plot this time.
yeah.
I made sure I remembered it.
Well, but Owu. I mean, I was fearful that Owu wasn't going to make it, and that made me sad. But she made it. I'm glad. I don't care if R2 Sphere 2, was her plot armor, but I mean, you know,
Well, the sphere data is still around. I mean, they're kind of useless to tell you the truth. The sphere data, I thought it could do more than just control fucking robots. Control the fucking ship, surely. If the ship, you don't want the ship to. I mean, if anything is going to be the next level to the spore drive, it would be that by saying, you know what, even if you got Stamets, you ain't going nowhere. So, anyways, so the crew and Michael have taken control of the bridge, and but they're still in Discovery. They're still in Osiris ship, if you know what I mean. And Tilly quickly decides to make Michael in charge of this moment because they really need their expertise. And as much as Tilly might be a good person just to command around daily shit, this is a very unique scenario. I totally understand putting Michael in charge. Do you agree?
unfortunately, yes. I mean, she is commander. Tilly is an ensign. The situation, the high stakes of this situation did require a ranking officer rather than just a position of number one.
No,
Like
no,
number
not,
one is more like the day to day,
it's not.
and
No, it's not. No, it's not ranking. It's experienced
well, that's what
officer.
but I mean, you have to have experience to be a higher, like to be
You can not
ranked.
necessarily. You could have loads of experience and never get promoted. I mean, like what's his face? Um, what's her face from Lower Decks, who
Oh
never
gosh,
wanted to get promoted.
she got demoted. That's why.
No, but she never wanted to get promoted. But the point is, they needed somebody who's been there, done it, worn the T-shirt, and Michael Burnham's done that for 3 seasons. So that's why I believe she was the right person. It was the fact that she knew how to deal with these situations better than Tilly could ever imagine. So much so that her plan was this because Book is somebody who's a telepath,
Empathic.
empathic,
I
fair
think
enough,
it's empathic.
and is able to talk to creatures and stuff. They're hedging their bets that he can somehow communicate was it the mushrooms? What was it?
The
The locust?
mycelial network.
But what's was it locust or what?
Tardigrade.
No, but the spore,
Yeah,
what was
just the
it?
spores.
Just spores, but he can communicate with the spores, so he can jump them out and shit like that. And in the meantime, what they're going to do is drop their warp core in the belly of this beast as a bomb, and it works, and they get the fuck out of there. Obviously, it's always going to work, wasn't it? It was nice to see the ship blowing up from the inside, which was pretty cool. And what do you think of that?
That's fine. I mean, we knew they were gonna make it, but I mean, it was. It was. I
And where
mean,
did it? I'm
hmm?
sorry, I apologize. Let me just quickly add. Is it where did they spore drive themselves to? To Saru. And as I said earlier, that's how you got saved by Michael, because she saved the day, and then spore drive themselves over to him, saved his ass and Adira and Hugh and everyone else at Cool and everyone else, just at the last minute before they fucking died. By the way, how unfortunate was it for them when they arrived on that ship? It was deteriorating to such a degree that it just happened to be the time when the ship was about to fucking fall off a cliff. Anyways, um, yeah. What do you think of all of that?
It was fine. Season finale climax. Yay!
No, that's not the
Everybody.
season
I'm just
finale.
glad. I'm just glad everybody lived. I'm glad you were wrong about Saru.
I,
Um,
I was no, you know what? We're gonna get to that. We are gonna get to that because I haven't got to that yet. But I'll bring it up now. I was half right about Saru.
you said he
The,
was going to die. You said they were
yes,
building up that
yes,
he was going to die.
yes.
No,
I felt no, but look, the point is that they've not made him captain anymore. He's not captain in the ship.
no, he's still captain. He's just not. He
He
is
is
taking a
a captain
leave.
in rank. He's a captain in rank, but he's no longer the Discovery captain. That
He
has been
is, he
Michael
is
Burnham.
but yeah, but he's taking
I
leave, and
was
until he
wrong. I was
returns,
look. I was wrong about him dying. I would no no problems with that. But I was kind of on the right path regarding that they're gonna put him on the bench.
yeah,
You know,
which I don't like. I mean,
but No, but look, doesn't mean just because he's doing his own shit doesn't mean that he's not going to be in season 4.
I
Yeah.
know. I just wanted more time with him as captain. You know.
Well, look, let's just talk about that more in a second, but I just want to finish this off now. So we then see the crew readjusting. Now Stamets, he gives Michael that dirty look, man. Like, just because my family's back doesn't mean we're cool. Hugh's cool with Michael. Adira's cool with Michael. Stamets ain't cool with Michael. Did you notice that?
Wait, who's cool with Michael?
Hugh and Adira, Hugh Colbert
Yeah.
and Adira, they're cool with Michael. They have no problems with him because they were doing their duty. They didn't see it
Yeah.
from his perspective. Stamets, on the other hand, he does not like Michael anymore. You could see it in his face. He gave her that look,
Yeah.
like, oh, we're not cool. We're not cool at all.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, as you're going to get into, she is now running the show. So,
Well, we see new factions in the Federation. We saw the Trill. We saw Navarre with the Vulcans.
well, they
And
said that the Trill has already rejoined the
yes,
Federation.
I know, but we saw them there, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the one person we didn't see who also who also started off on the right foot with the Federation, since they last saw them was Earth. After what they did with Titan, you would have thought that they would have been there too.
Well,
But
maybe they're going to address that early next season. Maybe that's one of the former Federation worlds that are getting dilithium. They didn't say
no,
which worlds were getting it.
no, this is what bothers me like about this show. It's like when they bring back characters who you just totally forget. And like they brought back that engineer, that female engineer with the short hair, the way they brought her here there. I mean, honestly, the way they're using her right now, they should never have brought her back this season. Honestly, it's pathetic. I mean, she was a real integral part of season 2. That engineer, she kept those people alive using her engineering skills. It was quite kind of amazing. And this season's like, what the fuck? You're absolutely useless. And it's not to do with her; it's to do with the fucking writers. Anyways, we see Lieutenant. The reason why I mentioned about her was we see Lieutenant Sahil. Remember him, the Indian guy in the first few episodes who was trying to send out messages and get a hold of Starfleet and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I do remember. I'm sorry. Yes.
And we see him and Michael and him shakes hands. And here's something else. Here's something else. I've always said that the Admiral has a real, and I say this in the professional sense, has a real liking for Michael Burnham. Really admires her, sorry. And that came to culmination with Michael being offered the captaincy of Discovery. Something she didn't want to take because Saru's obviously offshore now. He's looking after that Kelpian, Sakul. So there is a space available for a captain. And you cannot blame him for wanting to choose Michael Burnham, considering she has been exceptional since.
I kind of want Admiral Vance to take over Discovery
He
over
can't.
Michael.
He can't. But look.
Yes, he can.
No, look. Michael being absolutely, as far as he's concerned, what Michael has offered him since she's come into his life has been nothing short of exceptional. She has figured out the burn. She has brought alliances with, well, maybe not with Earth yet, but definitely things are cooler with Earth than it has have been before. The Trill, Navarre, and various other species as well. So, what the Federation, especially her, has done since, saving the refugees when they first met the Admiral, you cannot blame him for having a liking to Michael Burnham and giving her that position. She's been fantastic for him. She's been probably the best thing that's ever happened to him. I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Sometimes, I mean, all right. Well, I don't disagree with you 100%, but I mean, whatever. I mean, I kind of figured that we were leading to a Burnham a captaincy.
And I'm very, very happy that she's got it. Like, why the hell is she not? Look, this woman needs to be captain. She is a fantastic officer, mate. She needs to be captain, and
Yes,
she's
she is
got.
a fantastic treasonous officer.
No, but the best captains are the ones who have to break the rules, and we've seen that time and time again. We see
Okay.
that time. We've seen it time and time again, and there's no better rule breaker at this moment in time than fucking Michael Burnham. She's ideal, and if anything, I think I can totally understand why the Admiral would want someone like her because she thinks outside the box. Now, we then get to see everyone in their lovely new uniforms,
Oh,
and I love the way the season ended with optimism. Because she says, "Let's fly." That's her catchphrase. What do you think?
I like it. I mean, I kind of feel like that should have been more Saru's line, but that,
Tilly's remaining as first officer by the looks of things.
yeah, probably. I imagine so.
She should be lieutenant commander by now.
I think she should be a lieutenant by now, maybe.
Sorry, lieutenant. My bad. My bad. My bad.
Let's say
Sorry,
not
I forget
lieutenant.
which one.
She needs to get lieutenant. Well, she should be lieutenant junior grade, which is the rank between lieutenant and ensign.
Yeah, fuck all that. She should just be lieutenant. Um,
Okay.
I think she deserves the rank for being an engineer, being thrown into command role, and doing pretty well at it. Her galvanating skills as well. She's got command skills for sure. She's more than just an engineer. She's a leader. But we, like I said, we get to see the new costumes. She remains as first officer, and we get to see them let's fly, and then and oh, by the way, they do have a mission. Well, now they have a planet, a planet's worth of dilithium, which is kind of convenient.
Well, and the more importantly, they've figured out a way to make it so there's not another burn. Like that's I think their biggest problem is that yeah, there's I think everyone's skittish to use dilithium just in case if the burn happened again and then everything exploded. I know people did use dilithium still, but they were trying to use other methods too. So so that if another burn did happen, but now that they've figured out the origin of the burn, it's safe to use dilithium again. And they have a whole planet's worth of it. So all tidied up in that nice little bottle there, in a
I
nice
don't
little
think
package.
not just the planet. I think there's lots of the debris around the planet's all dilithium as well. So nevertheless, they've got it seemed what the admiral said to Michael before she took the captaincy was, we have mining operations. We need to get dilithium out there to all these people and stuff like that, and that seems to be kind of where season 4 might be heading.
Yep. I just hope they continue with more of the same. Uh, Not more of the same, but like the way they're going to be delivering dilithium to planets, and I kind of hope that's the route they still go, and we get to see other different races. I mean, I'd love to see Klingons and see how they're doing in this era. And I know like everyone's like, oh, Klingons, Discovery doesn't do Klingons right. I feel like at this point they've learned their lesson, and they would do Klingons right at this point. I think they would take a step back from the prosthetic department and let them kind of be a little bit more Klingon from like before. It would be interesting to see where the Klingons are at this point in history.
I want to get this thought out before I forget it, but with now the Federation or the Starfleet, however you want to call it, know where the dilithium is and stuff like that. I wonder if that's going to start new controversial political issues in the future,
Probably.
which would be good story arcs as well.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping for some more now. I feel like a lot of things have been ironed out to a degree, and I really would like some special, unique episodes next season, which are not to do with the story arc. Something that you could just watch at any time, and
Bottle
without having
episode.
to a bottle episode to a degree, but of any sort, some sort of time travel thing, crazy thing. Because when you see them going at, when you see some of the more unusual episodes of Discovery where they're kind of branching off a little bit from the main storyline, those are the best episodes. Like to a degree, like the Giorgio episodes where they went to the Terran universe and it was just totally different. They were great stuff. I mean, this finale ended well, but it wasn't like, oh wow, Endgame. But at the same time, it wasn't a drab, but it wasn't amazing. At the same, it was good.
Hmm.
It's good. I did enjoy it. I did feel that this season has been um like very much up, and then it went down. But near the end, it went back up again.
Well,
It
that's how
wasn't.
most seasons. I mean, that's how most
It,
seasons of television are.
I guess, but but with seasons being shorter, like when you watch stuff like Arrow and stuff like that with 22 episodes, you get that. But when you've got short seasons nowadays with like 10, or in this case 13 episodes, I guess you kind of get that a little bit. I guess There was some filler to a degree, but we are going to talk about the season as a whole tomorrow.
And we can get more into more details about the last episode too, if people in the chat want to, ask stuff about the final episode, or if they want to discuss something from this review, since we're uploading this rather than doing it live.
Exactly. So, I've pretty much got said what I have to say about this particular episode. Bob, what about yourself?
I'm good. All I want to say is that the uniforms look woof. Not feeling those uniforms. Maybe they'll get them squared away by the beginning of next season through the wardrobe department. But those uniforms do not look good, in my opinion.
I agree with you. My problem with is not necessarily the design, but it's the color coordination. Like having a little yellow stripe. Sometimes, like when you're looking at the back of these particular guys, you don't know who the red shirts are, the blue shirts are, the yellow shirts are. Yeah, the color coordination for these suits are terrible. Everything being all grey. They need to get around that. I did like the when we saw on the hollow on that hollow ship, they had those Starfleet officers, the holographic ones. I think they were from the 29th century.
Mm-hmm.
I like those ones. Those were pretty cool.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway,
Yeah, but other than that, I'm done.
okay, me too. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day and live long and prosper.